Hello and welcome to our weekly IG Live. We do this every Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern, and today we are going to be talking with educator Amy Cuenca. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name correctly. But she is someone who has a lot of experience doing a lot of different kinds of things in education, so I can't wait to talk to her about it and to find out more about how she gets started and how she ended up doing what she's doing. There she is. Hello. Let me see if I can get you into our... She's going to be telling us about her journey to what she's doing today and also any advice she has for people who are kind of trying to find their own path. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us. And I should mention, you just got on Instagram, what, like a few days ago?
I did. Yes, I know. I'm way behind the times.
No, that's cool that you are to jump on and try something new and say, oh yeah, sure. Yeah, IG Live. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. My 13-year-old daughter has been trying to get me to join Instagram for a while. She does not have access to social media yet, but she knows that if I have access to it, then maybe one day she'll be allowed to have it as well. So she was very excited when I told her I was opening an account.
That's great. Yeah, I find my kids are the ones that usually push me into doing some new things,
Mhm.
especially technology.
Yes.
Well, I gave like a little bit of an introduction, but why don't you introduce yourself for us?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm an elementary music teacher, and I've been teaching going on 18 years, mostly in the public school system. I studied music education because it was something I loved my whole life. My mom was an educator, both my parents were educators, and noticed from a young age that music was something that came naturally to me and that was a passion for me. And so I was fortunate to have supportive parents who gave me opportunities to study music as a child, and then it just seemed like a natural way to go when I was looking at careers. And being a musician has opened a lot of doors for me. And I'm so grateful for the support that I received from my parents and from so many educators in my life.
That's wonderful. And you have had a very varied career. You've done music and tech ed. You've also done fundraising and grant writing. So what was the journey that led you to what you're doing now with the music education?
Well, it's funny. It's really come full circle. I went to college to be a music teacher because music teachers impacted my life so much. And for me, music education was a great outlet. It also provided an opportunity for, social and emotional, learning opportunities. I remember being in middle school and having a hard day at school and coming home and just sitting at the piano and playing and singing. And I wanted to be able to provide that for other kids and give them opportunities. And the majority of my career I've spent in Title I schools. So the majority of our students were coming from low income households. And I knew that a way to give them opportunities was by getting money. And so my dad was a writer, and I got his influence in that, I guess, as I was growing up, and I started writing grants and learning how to be creative in the ways that I asked for money and how we would use money. But I learned that in creating these project-based learning opportunities to get grants, that then I had equipment and access to tools that would impact my students for years to come. So in doing that, I got the I guess, of my alma mater, the University of Louisville School of Music. And so about 13 years into my teaching career, they reached out and said, we have an opening for a fundraiser for a director of development, and we'd love to have you fundraise for the School of Music. And it was a passion for me because I was fortunate enough to go to college on a full music scholarship, thanks to generous donors who support the arts. And so I thought, this is a neat opportunity. And 13 years into teaching public schools, especially in Title I schools, you can have a little bit of burnout. So it was a good shift for me. And what was amazing about that is that it actually helped me to remember my passion for music education. And after a little over a year of doing fundraising, I desperately wanted to get back into education because I knew that was my passion. And then I got into tech ed because one of the grants I had written was for some technology. I wanted a classroom set of iPads so my students could learn to record their own music videos and compose using the GarageBand app. And by writing that grant, I started getting a little more techie, and the district that I was in at the time noticed that and said, would you be willing to coach teachers, kind of bring them out of that 1950s style teaching into the 2000s? And I decided that that would be another neat step in my career. But all the time, music was just in the back of my head, and I just knew that that's where my passion lies. And so it's funny, now 18 years later, I'm back in the elementary music classroom, and I have a renewed joy and vision for what I want to do there. And I'm writing grants. I've got 3 grants this year. So I've learned that I can take these passions and make them all happen at the same time.
That's wonderful. That I love that you kind of discover new talents and interests, and then you figured out how to, like you said, how to weave them all into one career. And as a daughter of a piano teacher, I have a lot of respect for for music education, especially because I know that, like you said, we really depend on people supporting arts, and often when schools are cutting back on their budget, seems like the arts are the first thing to go. It's always
Mm-hmm.
seen rather than the essential that it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how you talked about how you mentioned that every decision that you've made along your path, your career path, has really opened new doors to you. And I'm curious, is that a perspective that you had at the time, or did you see the pattern later, or at the time you're like, yes, this is what I need to do right now? Or was it just, because that saying, when one door opens, another door, I mean, when one door closes, another door opens, but at the moment we don't really see that that's what's going on. We might just be frustrated by the opportunity we don't have. Or how did that work for you?
Yeah, the fact that I am very much a type A personality, I do think of everything, or I try to think of everything before I make a change. Sometimes it can be crippling because I, um, can struggle to move forward and make a change because I think of all the possible wonderful things that can happen, but I also think of the things that might not be great. And that can be scary, especially when you're in a place that you enjoy. I mean, none of the job changes that I made ever were a result of being unhappy where I was. It really was just because I was excited about a different opportunity. And because I think everything out too much at times, I I realized that by expanding my resume, by expanding my experiences, and meeting new people, making myself grow outside of my comfort zone and try new things, that it could only hopefully, be for the positive. And there were a couple of changes that I made and immediately questioned and thought, oh, my goodness, did I make a bad choice here? This is scary. But what I've learned is that each opportunity I grew as a human being. It made me a better mom, a better wife, and ultimately a better teacher. Like I said, I'm back full circle now, but everything that I did, now I bring into the classroom every day. And I come to school with a renewed joy because I've had all these experiences and I'm confident that I am where I need to be.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that. And what do you most love about what you're doing?
There's a lot. I really do love though seeing how it seems like every personality type, every child opens up in a new way in the music classroom. And I'll see kids come in and they're maybe having a tough day, or kids who don't normally speak out a lot or aren't comfortable performing in front of the class. They come in and I can give them a bucket drum, and all of a sudden they're almost like mindfully drumming. It's a way for them to release that stress. And our students, our kids, all of us have been through so much trauma the past couple of years, and a lot of our students bring extra trauma with them that we can't even realize. And so I found that music is just a great outlet for them, and for me it's a gift to be able to share that with them. And also, like I mentioned, music opened so many doors for me. And so my hope is, when I'm working with students who maybe their families aren't able to give them all the opportunities that my parents were able to give me, that maybe those experiences in school will open those doors so that they continue on in middle school with band or choir or orchestra, and continue on and explore the fact that they can go to college on a music scholarship. A lot of them don't realize that. And I always make sure to tell them that this is an opportunity for them to open doors in life. I mean, I had multiple friends who were in the School of Music with me who were majoring in music, but they went ahead and did pre-med and pre-law. They took advantage of a music scholarship for undergrad and then went to law school or med school with no debt. So, music, it doesn't have to be something where you want to spend your whole career doing it. For me, that was what I wanted to do. But they're just great opportunities that it provides. And the school I'm at right now is very diverse. And so I love that. I love the diversity that the students bring with them, the culture that they bring with them, the stories that they share. I feel like we open minds every day with those conversations. And I'm fluent in Spanish, so we have a huge Hispanic population, and I can help translate in those situations. It's a beautiful place to be every day.
I love that. And diversity, does that affect how you teach the music? I mean, obviously you've talked about using your Spanish, but as far as having kids from different backgrounds, do you approach the classroom a different way?
I do, and I have to understand that students come from different cultures and different backgrounds. I have some kids who don't dance because of their religious, beliefs, and that's okay. When we do certain things in the music classroom where some of the kids want to dance, then I, obviously am able to provide them with other ways to participate, whether it's playing an instrument or singing along. So I have to consider those things whenever we're in the classroom. But what I've found is that it opens up rich conversations, and our kids learn so much from one another, and they leave with a stronger connection and bond with each other when they understand that we all come from these amazing places and that diversity is a strength.
That is wonderful. I think that I love that you're providing that kind of a space for your students, and what a gift to them, and what a great lesson for them to learn at such an early age.
Thank you.
To finish off, because I'm coming up on time, but I was wondering, because you have this really wonderful perspective on your own career, do you have any advice for somebody who's just starting out, whether it's in education or music or just in any career, how to kind of have that perspective of, like you said, looking at opportunities and how they present themselves? What advice would you give them?
I would say that they just need to be advocates for themselves. And I think all of us struggle with that sometimes because we struggle about, worrying about sounding arrogant. But there's a difference between arrogance and assertiveness. And I think that, we need to learn to be assertive and understand our value and our worth. And so then when we're presented with opportunities, or when we want to pursue an opportunity, and maybe there are doubters out there, we need to understand what we have to offer and pursue it. I mean, I don't have a degree in tech education. I don't have a degree in business or anything to do with fundraising, but because I was willing to try new things, and because I had thankfully supportive colleagues and family, I took that step even when it was scary, and it opened these new doors. It made a way for me. So I just think we need to understand our value and our worth and be advocates for ourselves and what we can offer, because everybody has so many things to offer the world, but we have to believe in ourselves and approach it with that belief.
And teachers like you, I think, help kids have that kind of belief and confidence in themselves. So thank you for all that you're doing. Doing work in education right now, I think is so important. And thank you for joining us and talking with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.